Armed with their hunting and gathering skills and now drones and smartphones, indigenous Amazonians in Peru are doing what oil companies have long failed to do: monitor and report oil spills, which have been polluting their corner of the rainforest for decades. Fidel Sandy, a leader in the nearby village of Achua people, knows this territory like the back of his hand. It's been inhabited by his ancestors for as long as anyone can remember. But for as long as he's been alive, it's been part of an oil drilling installation. And he knows when something's not right.
Porque muchos tiempos explotaron a los ancestros, pero en el momento no queremos que nos exploten, por eso, pero aún así la empresa miente en las cosas que está bien remediadas, pero nosotros tenemos, ya no nos pueden mentir.
Fidel, what are we looking at here? What is that?
Acá ese es petróleo, que están enterrados, ni siquiera no están ni profundos. Y esto las empresas dicen que no, que están remediadas la zona PAC. ¿Cómo va a estar remediada la zona PAC? Mira estas vegetaciones que están secándose. Y la gente consumen de acá, pero acá sacan sus aguajes para que puedan llevar a sus mercados, y sacan suris, y por acá transitan también para que puedan cazar animales.
Further into this palm swamp, a short walk from the village, more evidence is oozing to the surface. This whole wetland area had supposedly been environmentally remediated after a spill more than a decade ago. But all we have to do is scratch the surface and the crude oil emerges. This legacy of contamination and cover-ups is not just a problem for the Achua people, but also for other tribes living across 4 river basins in Peru's northern Amazon. But they are getting organised. Later in the day, other indigenous land protectors arrive in Fidel's village of San Cristobal. Having travelled for days in some cases, the 12, all young men, are weary but ready to learn. The following day, they familiarise themselves with the tools of the trade. Smartphones used to georeference oil spills, but also to film, photograph and describe them. And drones, a powerful and now more accessible tool which can reach spots which are difficult or impossible to get to from the ground. Training the monitors are researchers from the Institute of Social Studies at Holland's Erasmus University and non-profit organisations. The idea is that the data can be transmitted instantly to Peru's Environmental Supervision Authority, says Gregor MACLENNAN of the NGO Digital Democracy.
The goal of this work is to gather information about oil spills and existing contamination, and for the communities to be able to send that to the government and show them what is happening, and then follow up with their political processes of advocacy to get the government to pressure the company to clean up and make sure that they're operating within the law.
Whether they're other Achua from the Pastaza River, Quichua from the Tigre River, or Wampis from the Marañón and Santiago rivers, they all share the same problem: pollution from state-run or private oil companies. Leaky pipelines, oil drilling, and the production waters it generates have left a toxic legacy across a swathe of Peru's Amazon rainforest. This river has been a source of life for the Achua people in this part of the Amazon basin since time immemorial, but decades of oil spills and pollution have left them fearful of drinking its water and eating its fish, as more and more people die from unknown illnesses. San Cristobal's eldest residents can chart oil's deadly legacy back more than 45 years. Fidel's mother, Anacha Walinga, says she doesn't remember a time before there was oil in the Corrientes River.
Ituru no na hai minya wa hu na ha ma wai hu na ham tora wai tikishir na ha ma wai so ndai uhuti nya wai chu mo hai nya wai no ka hui kanchi atma toria atma mi hin tora ma tu ku no hai wai chakiar na kach minyo hakai wa hi hund na kas yakta hu kau hakai himiar umar hakai no ya stirangir hakai kampatam.
Speaking her native Achua language, Walinga told CGTN she believes it was the heavy metals poisoning caused by the pollution which killed them.
Ma yutain kisha surut satito sa wakira hai uchiti tirang jirka waitu wahai nyawai. Uyumi nyawai mash kundin ka papir ma wite huka. Huka hu wahi niksinya na kuir hana huka mash papir mo. Aya hu ini shaya wait hai nyawai. Tuke sumakar uchiringa ayuri nyawai. Tura tango chisha tacha tango mar ayurhi no tangom hi tramet atacha sungurin din hini nyawai. Atacha hunin no sung matsati nyawsha. Tura asam di ni yamai ke uchi huni ser nungaru amustur ko kawarin chesuratsoi.
In 2006, Peru's health ministry found up to 90% of Achuar children had levels of toxic heavy metals in their bloodstream well above safe norms. In the same year, Plus Patrol signed an agreement pledging to re-inject the toxic production waters which had been brought up by oil drilling. Plus Patrol, which has run the nearby oil block since 2001, says a previous operator, Occidental Petroleum, was responsible for the pollution. But the long-term health impacts have not abated. CGTN asked Plus Patrol for a response, but the company declined to comment. In the room which serves as the village clinic, Lorenzo Navarro, a qualified nurse, treats his neighbours with medicine bought by the company.
Mayormente las contaminaciones son afectados los niños menores de 5 años. ¿Cuáles son los causas? Tienen diarreas agudas, de ahí tienen, ¿cómo se llama? De diarrea, los niños son desnutridos y otra causa que viene es la neumonía, el bronquitis, como mayormente sufren esos niños menores de 5 años. Acá en mi comunidad yo atiendo bastante, semanal quizás atiendo a veces 2, 3.
Aged 40, Navarro grew up in San Cristobal, eating the fish from the river, which was heavily mixed with oil. He admits he often has dizzy spells or is forgetful. Readings for cadmium and lead in his blood are at least double safe levels, he tells CGTN.
Por eso yo me he dedicado a estudiar el tema de salud. Entonces yo no estudié porque a mí me quiero, sino que me he dedicado a estudiar el tema de salud porque veía casos muy necesarios, que un enfermero de comunidad es lo más importante. ¿Por qué? Porque a través de su vivencia, a través de su comunicación puede incentivar a la población a cuidarse. Y si tienen algún problema de salud, acudirse o él mismo puede llevar al centro de salud, porque yo me preocupo mucho por mi pueblo.
Despite knowing there's been toxic metal pollution here during decades, Peru's health ministry has yet to carry out a full toxicological study. And the people receive no medical attention for their specific symptoms, says public health expert America Arias.
Este contacto continuado con agua contaminada por metales pesados, suelo contaminado por metales pesados y alimento contaminado por metales pesados tiene un impacto que se va acumulando en la población y que está empezando a hacer aflorar problemas que a día de hoy no tienen respuesta. Casos de cáncer, deformaciones en recién nacidos, enfermedades congénitas, casos de un bajo desarrollo cognitivo, así como aparición de enfermedades para las que el sistema sanitario no está encontrando la causa, salvo su posible relación con la contaminación.
Studies show millions of barrels of toxic production water were dumped into the river during 2 decades. The company has in the past insisted it is compensating the population. But it may be too late, says Lorenzo Pellegrini, an ecological economist who visited the village.
If we talk about existing communities like the one in San Cristobal, how can you compensate the loss of human life? We know because of epidemiological studies that impacts increase morbidity and mortality rates within these communities. From my perspective, as an ecological economist, these are values that cannot be compensated with the monetary metric. There is no amount of money that can ever compensate the loss of life.
Several scientific studies show how the buildup of lead, barium and cadmium in the water, fish and animals consumed by the Achuar can cause cancer. San Cristobal's case is not an isolated one. Communities the length and breadth of the country have come to the capital to say they've been poisoned too. In response, the Health Ministry said in a statement that it would coordinate with other ministries to control and reduce the causes of heavy metal contamination at a national level. Yet so far, the Peruvian state has taken no action to tackle the health crisis, says Fernando Serrano, a professor of occupational health specializing in toxic metals at the University of Missouri.
And the first one that it needs to do is collect evidence on the populations affected. To this day, there's no national assessment of how many people have been exposed to lead, cadmium, arsenic, mercury, antimony, and many other toxic metals that we know we have sufficient evidence that cause disease. So that is step one.
Step 2 in the jungle region could be stopping the regular oil spills, which are where Peru's environmental regulators say drones come in handy.
Lo que nos ayudaría esto de los drones es muchas veces es determinar posiblemente las áreas que hayan sido afectadas. Puede ser con una mayor rapidez o precisión, porque hay que tener en cuenta cuando un derrame se produce en selva, la selva hay en muchos casos que es inaccesible.
Meanwhile, the indigenous monitors hone their new skills. It looks like fun, but this skill could be a new weapon in defending their combined territories, which encompass an area around the size of Germany. Piloting this drone, Venancio Sandy Tutui from the Tigray River hopes using this technology will mean a quantum leap.
El trabajo de monitoreo es muy amplio y muy verídico para poder hacer llegar estas denuncias directamente al Estado. ¿Por qué? Porque ya registramos con puntos de coordenada, con fotos y videos, audios, para poder nosotros sustentar esta contaminación en esta cuenca.
In San Cristobal, there are few still living who remember a time before oil. During the last decade, more than half of the Peruvian Amazon has been leased to the international oil industry. But as the sun sets on the Corrientes River, a younger generation is fighting back, using modern technology to combat its toxic legacy.